Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is one of those occasions under which day drinking is, there's a lot of empty space in here. Well, look, I'm basically not leaving the house for the next 24 hours, save an emergency, so I can drink as much as I want. And this is only 4% alcohol by volume, so I am still, after drinking probably a lot of these, I am still going to be safe to drive. So I'm going to tackle another one of my philosophical questions. Is there a difference between simply existing and living? Who comes up with these things? Is there a difference between existing and living? Yes, of course there is. I'm assuming it's deeper than that, but these bracelets from 4Ocean exist. They are not alive. I buy one for every 1,000 subscribers I get, and 4Ocean pulls a pound of trash out of the ocean every time I do that. This is, they're things that exist, as opposed to I am living, I am exchanging gas. That didn't come out right. But I am thinking, breathing, responding, existing. I am more than just something that exists. I am living. But then, cool as that looks, it is not letting the energy drink through. Oh, I'm trying to live the life of an internet blogger. And they basically are weirdos that sit at home all day and drink. So I'm doing that. Anyway. Look. Some people just exist. I think I just exist sometimes. I don't think I'm really living. I've never been very happy. I don't even know if I know how to be happy. But, if you're really living, you're not just trying to survive. You're expressing yourself in some way. You're finding joy. You're living beyond that. And one of the things that a person once told me, he was an anthropologist, and he said that you can't really say that North Korea has a culture because most of the people are starving. And when all you do is try to survive, your simple day-to-day life is trying to stay alive, you don't have a culture because you have no energy to be a culture. When you examine it, you look at my watch here, all right? This is a fitness tracker. I look at my fitness tracker. It says how many steps I've had today, which it's only 2 o'clock in the morning, but I've had about 600 steps. That's a fitness tracker, okay. And it says something that rather than just telling time, I want to have more. I want to know how much activity I've done. That's part of culture. That's who we are. And it defines us. Now, you would say that if I'm just living to exist, I wouldn't be able to have that because I'd be too concerned with survival. No, look, I think I'm going to post this sometime either in December of 2024 or sometime in 2025. So it will likely be after the presidential election. But we here in America, a lot of us just survive. Many of the homeless just survive. Many of them are simply sitting there going, you know what, there's nothing I can do. I could never get a decent job. I could never have a decent place to live. I'm just here. And I've met people like that. I've met people who will never work again no matter what you do, no matter what you say. They're too broken. They have too many problems. Some people just live, some people truly exist. No, that's not right. That's the alcohol talking. Some people just live, some people truly live. You know, that's one of those things. I was sick when I was young, you know, and my family refused, they just refused to take me to a doctor. Even when I went to a doctor for sports physicals, you know, the doctor was like, oh, there's nothing wrong with you. But sometimes, one time the doctor was like, oh, he needs a blood test. And my old man was like, no, you don't. I was throwing up every morning and I was bleeding out my fingernails. And I couldn't get anything done. I've lived with a lifelong depression. But, you know, the last time I went to a doctor about my depression, what they told me is, you're not depressed. You're stressed out. All right? And, you know, that's really upsetting when you think about it. I mean, for me, 8 years ago, I remember I was working for this one company and they didn't treat their manpower very well. And the last I heard of it, the guy that owned that company, they told me he looked like a chihuahua. Exactly what that means, I don't know. But they said he had gained a lot of weight. He was under a lot of stress because, you know, he had manpower issues. And it's one of those things. You know, as I sit there and I look at jobs, as I film this, I'm unemployed. By the time I post this, I better get a job. You know, it's my unemployment will have run out. I technically have 2 jobs. Okay? Neither of them have called me in a very long time, and I'm not pushing to go back and work for them, but I am technically employed by 2 different companies that do 2 very different things. Okay? And I mean, this would be an opportunity for me to really push that, but I just don't know how. You know, one of them, you know, it's basically you get these short-term gigs, and you know that's it. It's a short-term gig. You're there. Sometimes you're there for the day. Sometimes you're there for the week. Sometimes you keep getting called back. I don't know. I've never actually, you know, I went in there. They hired me. They took my picture. They made me a file. Every now and again, I get an email from them. Are you available for this? Yes, I am. Then they don't call me for it. So very rarely is anything of any value to me. But that's the world I live in, you know. So I've just got to put up with that. And you know, I do this, and it would be really great if this became my job, if I could make a living off of YouTube, because at a certain point, you know, your job is to experience life. That's what this is. People say this is old school YouTube. It is random guy speaking his mind, and it's like, yeah, I mean, I don't know if that ever went away on YouTube. It's just it's not as popular as it used to be. And, you know, people do what makes a living. So I do these particular videos because doing these particular videos is what people are watching, you know. And I went out there, like I said, I found 250 questions, philosophical questions. And they're some of the most obvious questions and some of the dumbest questions, like which came first, the chicken or the egg? Or, you know, if a tree falls in a forest, does it make a noise? So I'm burning through that list just so I have something to make, just so I have videos on this channel, because for the longest time, I didn't know what to do with it. You know, this is my secondary channel. I have my primary channel where I review movies, I review drinks, sometimes I review food, and I just throw stuff on that channel as much as humanly possible. But, you know, it's one of those things that what do you do? You do what people want to see. So is there a difference between living and just existing? Of course there is. I think I'm just existing. I mean, yeah, I love watching movies. I watch a lot of them. That's why I have a channel where I review movies. One of the problems with that is that, often I'm required to watch a movie that I watch this movie. I'm like, I really don't enjoy this, but I've got to finish watching it because if I don't finish watching it, how can I review it? And then there are movies that I know they're good movies and I just can't get into them and I don't know why. So yeah, try to do something that brings you joy every day. Because life, well, it just passes you by. That's the world we live in. There was a time in American history where if a man had a full-time job, he could raise a family. Didn't matter what that full-time job was. Working at a grocery store, being a security guard, gardening, but those times are gone. And in order to raise a family, you need 2 jobs, you need 3 jobs. Life is hard. Well, I don't know. Hopefully the future will be bright. It looks dark now. But all we can do is live. I'm Richard. Hi everybody, I'm Danger Ducky and this is the part of the video where I remind you to comment, like, and subscribe. I'm also giving time for there to be links to the next video and subscriptions. You should comment, like, and subscribe because for every 1,000 subscribers, this channel will buy a bracelet from For Ocean, and that will pull a pound of trash out of the ocean. It's a big ocean and there's a lot of trash there. We also buy medals from the Conqueror, and every one of those means that 5 trees are planted, so that we will have a cleaner world for you and me to live in. Danger Donkey says, be a good Samaritan, float like a butterfly, and comment, like, and subscribe!